Hey guys, so I just want to make a quick video about learning how to speak up and speak your mind. So sometimes we can feel really emotionally stuck because we're not speaking our minds, because we're not telling people how we feel. So growing up, I didn't grow up with my dad, so I didn't grow up with a father. So, hey, not growing up with a father, it was just like, okay, well, he doesn't talk to me, he's not asking me how I am. So I started to feel very suffocated and depressed at times. Like I couldn't get my emotions out and I couldn't communicate how I felt. So I often felt suppressed and depressed. And one of the things that God has been teaching me is how to express myself. So recently I had called my mom and I was trying to tell her something and she's like, I'm busy, I don't have time. And when it came to emotions, she was never the type of mother to say, like, okay, tell me how you feel. Are you okay? Like, what have you been going through? No, hey, thanks for, whoop, whoop. Our conversation was basically very functional. It was like, did you do your homework? You know, did you do the chores? It was very functional and very non emotional. And so recently, my mom's been very busy, and I've been trying to tell her like what's going on in my life, but it was like, okay, I don't have time for this, right? And so, as you know from my previous videos, I had a situation. I went on a date, and this guy he was like, "Do you want me to pay for your meal?" Which is $13, and I looked up the number 13, which actually means rebellion. Not that it has any significance. Maybe it does. I don't know. Anyway, so he went to pay, and before the girl swiped his card, he was like, I don't want to pay for your meal. And so, how I felt in that moment was I felt like a burden on him. And it's not even that much, right? So, I felt hurt and rejected in a sense. So, when he asked, hey, do you want to go home now? I was like, no, I don't want to go with you. Like, I don't need a ride from you. Like, I felt ignored, I guess. So anyway, so 2 days go by, and yesterday I had a dream. I was in Japan. Whenever I have a dream of Japan, it always means that if you're having a dream about Japanese people or Japan, it means that you're suppressing how you feel and you're not speaking up. Because historically, culturally speaking, Japanese people are very polite, and if you go to Japan, a lot of times culturally, it's like don't say what's on your mind because it may offend someone, right? So I had a dream about Japan, and then um I woke up, and in the dream I basically went to some guy. Hey hey Renee, hey Kingdom, hey Kitsune, hey Leo. In the dream I went to this guy and then I was like, hey, like um it was just something about like paying for a meal, and like I was like mad that I had to pay for my own meal. So I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I never confronted how I felt in that moment to this person, right? Many times we go through life not expressing ourselves directly to, to that person about how we feel, right? So then I was like, I need to call him. Like, basically, this is how it ended. He didn't pay for my meal. I paid for my own. I got pissed. He walked away. He left, and I didn't get a ride from him, and we never talked again. And then I was like, wait a minute, I never confronted him about how I felt in that moment. So I called him and I was like, hey dude, I just wanna let you know, um, I felt very offended and disrespected by what you did, and I felt hurt and I felt a little bit rejected. So he's like, okay, I don't know what to tell you, and he's like, okay, fine. And then he was just getting he said that he took a shower and he was getting dressed, and he literally like just didn't talk for like 2 3 minutes, and I just heard noises and I'm like, hello, like hello, I'm here, like. And like in that moment I just felt ignored. I'm like, I hung up and then I texted him like, I'm not gonna sit here and be ignored. But I was proud of myself for telling him how I felt and being vulnerable with someone I literally just like went on one date with. But like a lot of times we don't get our feelings out, and I realized like I think I recently also got a really weird text from this guy I met online, and like I don't know him at all, but it was something like, "Hey, you won't reply to my text, and like good luck with your chastity, because I have an 8-inch dick." And like sometimes in those moments you're like, I don't even know how to respond to this. Like, do I just ignore it, or like do I tell this person how I feel? And like now what I try to do is like I try to call that person and just tell them like, I've actually called people and been like, "Hey, please do not send me a dick pic, and I don't see a future with you." Yeah, like I've actually had to confront these things, because I think when things annoy you, or when things come into light into your life, when they keep coming, it's a sign that you need to confront how you feel about that situation. Like, it's there for a reason, but a lot of times we ignore things because we're like, if we just ghost, if we just ignore, if we just don't reply, then we don't have to deal with the emotions that come up for us. And so what God has been teaching me is like, okay, there are emotions that are coming up. Instead of letting that communication end, like, speak up about it and tell that person how you feel. And so like I'm proud of myself for having called this person, and that I don't know that well, that hey, what you did hurt my feelings. I felt rejected in that moment, and like I'm not going to ignore my feelings. You know what I'm saying? And um yeah, I think sometimes I in the past I've tend to have delayed reaction. So something happens to me and I'm like mad about it, I'm sad about it, but I don't know how I feel in the moment. And that happens a lot to people who did not grow up with emotionally mature parents. So what I've been learning in relationships and friendships is, when the feeling comes up, when an emotion comes up, I tell that person straight away, even though it may be hard to confide that to that person. Like, hey, I felt hurt. I felt rejected by what you just said. What you said annoyed me, or hey, I felt offended. I feel accused of. I try to bring it up right away so I'm not like sitting there like, oh, I hate this person. And then it leads to gossip, right? And so, anyways, that's what I've learned. I pray that, you know that your feelings matter, that you're not a burden, that um you you aren't like, people should not ignore you. I'm just saying. People should not ignore you. They should not flake on you. They should not be disrespectful towards you. But sometimes people do that, and you need to teach them. You're the only one. Hey, Nick. You're the only one that can open your mouth and verbally say to someone, "Hey, this is how I feel. My feelings matter." And it's hard because a lot of times when you don't have people around you that truly listen to you, you feel like your feelings don't matter, but your feelings do matter. Speak up for yourself. And as you speak up, you come into the light, you come into relationship, and you come into people embracing you. Hey, you deserve to be heard. You deserve to be encouraged. So, hey, I'm really glad to see you actually. So, thanks for coming on. Hope you're feeling better. I also had like two people recently tell me, just like, and I don't think they meant harm by it, but it's like they're just like, "Oh, I didn't tell you that you can post that picture." And like I start to feel like I was doing something wrong, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just cannot do anything right." Like, but part of coming into the light, coming into relationships, is being vulnerable, being honest, and like when that thing happens, to tell that person how you feel. So, anyways, God bless you. Make sure to subscribe to my blog, rebekkalien.com. Oh, oh, my heart. um, I'm gonna cry. Just, it's like, I guess the last couple of days I was going through a bit of feeling depressed, and just like feeling like, oh, like people didn't love me or cared about me. And I was like, God, I'm so tired of like reaching out to people and like not getting reciprocation, especially from my family. And I'm like, God, I'm just gonna give up, because I feel like it's not really fair. Because it's like when you put in all the work and that person doesn't reciprocate, it's really hard. And but I realized like I need to persevere. I need to push through and not allow myself to suffocate in my emotions. Like I need to speak up. I need to do that for my heart, for myself, because I don't want to live a numb life. When you don't speak up for yourself, when you don't express yourself, what happens is your heart becomes numb. It's a horrible way to live. Like nobody wants to live numb. And so, anyways, that is all. God bless you. Make sure to subscribe to my blog and my podcast, The Beck Show. And if you'd like to donate to this ministry, you can do so on the website. God bless you. Bye. It's good to see you. Yeah, so yeah, it just takes a lot of work, to express yourself. So anyways, bye.